Joe, what did you think of JD Vance in that address? It's quite the log cabin story, isn't it?
Well, it is a log cabin story. Yet again, he has shown that he is similar to Donald Trump on policy, but very different to Donald Trump on the life journey. And as a someone who did grow up in very difficult circumstances, he does have a very powerful story that will appeal to the blue-collar workers that Donald Trump is reaching out to.
Indeed, and even the style, the speech itself, a 39-year-old, the way he was comparing the period of his coming of age with decisions and legacies of the octogenarian president, things like NAFTA and so on, and the way that those trade policies flowed through to the Midwest where he grew up.
Well, that's right. He can speak with authority about some of the challenges that everyday Americans feel they're going through. You know, I think he's a strong choice. And even though he obviously has very similar policy positions to Donald Trump, the fact is that JD Vance is a contrast. And even though it's also the case, Kieran, Donald Trump doesn't feel the need to pick someone that is going to win over a particular demographic. You know, he hasn't gone for a minority in a vice president. When he picked Mike Pence, he obviously was targeting evangelical Christians, the Midwest. On this occasion, he's not. He's actually finding someone that philosophically is similar to him, but happens to have a different life story that will definitely appeal to the blue-collar workers, particularly here in Wisconsin, but also Pennsylvania and Michigan, which are now turning out to be the three key states that the election will be decided on.
A little bit of mention of foreign policy, there's strong language on China, but I was intrigued by the comments made by Kevin Rudd with you yesterday. It was a compelling discussion you had where he says he's telling the European ambassadors, just chill, it's all good, but JD Vance wants to pull the support for Ukraine.
Well, at the end of the day, it'll be Donald Trump's call. And Donald Trump has moderated his position on Ukraine. I don't know that JD Vance has, but certainly Donald Trump has. And when you get into office, you are mugged by the reality of a situation. And the reality is, if America throws Ukraine under the bus and gives Vladimir Putin everything that he's looking for, it will mean that America is weaker. America is weaker. And that's not something that Donald Trump would want to begin his term with.
The energy of that convention, Brian Loughnane described it as a circus of sorts, but there's no doubt the momentum is all behind Trump. Then you look at the other side of the political aisle, and really it is a debacle right now. Schumer, Schiff, among other senior Democrats, saying that Biden has got to tap the mat. Now he's got COVID. What happens from here?
Well, it's a great question. If Joe Biden doesn't want to go, he's not going. It's as simple as that. And he has the votes on the floor of the Democratic Convention to win office again and win the nomination again. So it all comes down to him and his frame of mind. Now, I got to confess, I was saying to your colleagues over the last few days that I didn't think Joe Biden was going to go, and particularly after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Joe Biden doesn't run away from a fight, and it still might be the case. But there was an air of desperation in the last 24 hours where his office, combined with the Democratic National Committee, the leadership committee of the Democrats, were trying to bring forward the nomination process from the convention floor in Chicago in late August to a virtual endorsement on the 1st of August. That smacked of desperation to me, combined with this leaking from Biden's office that, in fact, he, instead of relying on God to decide whether he should run. He's now relying on his doctor to give advice on whether he should run. So it's all moving very quickly here, and it's moving at the same pace that the polls are drifting away from the Democrats, and more states that were always going to be Democrat are now starting to drift towards the Republicans.
Yeah, they've got to shift it, and shift it really quick if it's going to change. No one knows the US system or the protagonists better than you, Joe Hockey. Thanks for your analysis today and over recent days. Appreciate it.